Hello, it's a snow day. We're outside to do a little bit of Tai Chi. Let's see if we can take our encouragement from the snow. We'll start by finding a stable base, setting our knees, relaxing the shoulders, taking in a deep in breath, and then shaking maybe over the head, about the temple height maybe, and then around the belly height, turning the trunk, keeping the knees securely above the balls of the feet. And then we'll round them back a bit and do the shaking around the sides. We're going to get the spine involved and just undulate the spine. This gives us a chance to unset and then reset the knees. But we want to feel that those knees have the priority over the spine's flexibility and range and amplitude and speed of movement. I want to feel that those knees don't lock out or don't push me back, but they don't collapse forward or perhaps inward. And I'm just trying to involve the arms a little bit by kind of tossing my wrists forward as they undulate. As you get more comfortable, you can include the cervical spine and let that lay back and then fall forward. Quite often, as we fold forward, we bring our neck into extension, trying to keep an eye forward or on the wall, perhaps, or maybe even just on the ground in front of us. When seeing the ground, we think our head must be relaxed, right? Our neck is relaxed. But really, if I had relaxed it, I'd probably be looking at the ground behind me or through the legs or something. The cold is very sharp here. Now I'm going to remember those knees. Of course, they only bend forward, and work on undulating the spine side to side. And again, paying attention to where the knees go. Even though I have my movement in this plane, my knees still forward, back, straighter, less straight, straighter, less straight. So that may mean that I can think of moving faster. I can physically move faster with my spine. But as I go faster, I lose sight of what the knees do. So the speed, the excitement with which I apply myself to this should not be driven by anything other than my ability to guide the knees. And this may feel like more of a brain workout than a body workout. More or less speaking, the wall that I'm facing, or in my case, the camera, I'm kind of checking in that throughout each of my hips is the same distance to the camera, like I haven't done this, and each of my shoulders is the same distance to the camera, so that I'm not twisting as I work in this plane of movement. If you don't shift your weight, it'll be easier to keep the knees from going anywhere, but you'll have less overall movement here. But that would be a fine way to start. So maybe in profile, you can see that. As compared to shifting more and letting my knees change their positions. Well, now I'm going to work on twisting the spine. Same concern for the knees. I want to work on lengthening the spine. The bottom of the tail falls to the earth. The top rises to the sky. And there's a twist throughout. Just gentle, not going as far as I can go. Checking my balance. I'm stable with my feet. I'm on a slope here, and of course it's icy, compacted snow, and then new, perhaps slippery snow. I'm going to try this without the lengthening of the spine, maybe a little slower. So I have less of the lengthening, less of the sink, less of the rise. I feel like my whole spine is a bit more compact, not really squeezed, but a little bit more compact. I'm working on that. Turning. Okay. Next, I'm going to stretch the fingers. I'm just grasping one finger at a time and bringing it into extension. Maybe I can come a little bit closer to the camera here. So one finger at a time into extension. I could grab that with a couple fingers. And then just checking in as we do this that we're breathing. So I like to do this with a inhale, exhale, concentrate on relaxing. And then at the end of the exhale, bring the finger into extension. I guess I'll do this one so you can see it better. And then inhale while it's in extension. So I'm just invoking a sense of calm, even though there's some stress here. And then exhale and release. And you can release it slower than I did, so it doesn't kind of bounce back. You can sort of slowly release. So again, inhale, just in preparation, relaxing. And then exhale, slowly bringing it into extension across your exhalation, working on staying calm and relaxed. At the end of the exhalation, we have our extension, and then we inhale. And then exhale, next finger. Again, I could do this with a couple fingers. It doesn't really matter too much. Sometimes I'll do this against part of my body, same thing. So inhale. Next side. Invoking relaxation, calm, slow. Exhale, maintaining relaxation, slowness, coming into extension. The stress builds, the tension builds, the strain builds. At the end of the exhalation, I'm about at the end of the stretch. Inhale, touching in on that relaxation, that softening, that presence. And then exhale, you can release. Let's do the next hand. I have 2 more fingers to go, I think. I can't remember if I did the thumb. Maybe I have 3 more fingers to go. Pinky, inhale. I'll do the thumb as I walk back to where I was. Good, let's just go back to that initial shaking. And then shoulders up, spiraling down. You can rise up on the balls of the feet here as the shoulders come up, and drop the heels as you spiral down. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip of tea, and then we'll do a little Tai Chi walking. Special tea thermos for the snow. That was nice. There you go. So Tai Chi walking, see where I can be that you could see my feet. And just get your weight comfortably over one leg. Draw your other leg underneath the pelvis. It can touch down for stability if you like, but there's no weight really. And then place the heel where you're going. I gotta step up for my first step. And then place the rest of the foot down. Feel the ground, which in my case, step up, icy, snowy, and cold. And then bring the weight over that leg. In my case, I'm going to have to straighten that leg in order to come up the step. But either way, you carry the other leg underneath the pelvis. It can touch down for stability. And then presuming we're going to step the other leg next, we set the heel down where we're going. Set the rest of the foot down. Feel the contact with the earth. Feel the state of the earth or the carpet or the acorn you stepped on or whatever. I'm presuming it's advisable to shift your weight. Shift the weight onto that leg. I could feel the snow give. That was an interesting adjustment. Bring the other leg underneath. So for stepping outside, we're going to do these smaller steps. And if I was going directly to the side, like perpendicular to the line of the camera, if that's where I'm going to head, I'm going to actually open my feet a little bit. So in my case, stepping in this direction, I'm going to open my foot a tiny bit, maybe 20 degrees, 25, 30 degrees, set it down. And I'm not going to go where my toes are pointing. I'm going to go to the inside of the toes to give myself a bit more traction on the slipperiness. So a smaller step and a little bit open. So as I walk, again, think about the penguin. I'm going to have my feet the toes wider than the heels, and overall smaller steps. Of course, the penguin doesn't step very far, right? Doesn't put its point of support way far away from its center of mass. It's right up underneath, right? So now I'm going to shift. And even though I'm shifting forward and I have this sense of where I'm going and my toes to the outside, my knee still goes where my toe goes. I don't have my knee go where I'm planning to walk. Bring the other foot up underneath. And I can feel the foundation change when I put my weight on it, right? I could feel how the snow gives. And all of a sudden, it's like my high heel broke, or yeah, I guess that's a good way to think of it. So yeah, right there it changed. Wow, that's fun. Here. So I'll just keep walking this direction for now. Small step, heel first, rest of the foot, feel the ground, continue to feel the ground. So I must have stepped on a place I've previously stepped because it didn't sink in this time. And so small penguin steps. This works well on mud or any slick surface. A rain-drenched surface. River walking is how I river walk too. Well, yeah, that's... So it's just staying patient, slow, small steps, really steady. Listen to the bottom of the feet every time. Like right there, I could feel it was going to slip. So I was starting to shift. And because I continued to think about the bottom of the feet, I realized that's not as sturdy as I thought it was. So for me, I'm going to change the placement of that foot. And I'm going to go a bit here, maybe even a bit closer. So like a shuffle size step. Yeah, that's better. So I'm working to remain present with the step. I'm not excited about where I'm going. Sometimes when it's wintry or rainy or slippery for some reason, we become more in a hurry to get where we're going because it'll be warm and dry where we're going. It'll be less slippery where we're going when we get off this slick surface. And so then our attention goes to where our destination is, and we tend to hurry and put less emphasis on the details of the stepping. So right when the risk environmentally is higher, we play into that and increase the risk by being less present and more hurried. And then, of course, when we do slip and fall, we might very likely just blame the conditions external, right? It was really wet. It was really slippery. And we think, well, other people wearing the same shoes as you didn't slip. Maybe you played into that. So just nice Tai Chi walking. When you will need to look down more, when it's slippery, there's more risk involved. But try not to do that looking down when you're in movement. So once you're stable and steady and your feet are separate rather than when they're together, take a look down, return to the horizon, feel. Once you set that foot down without weight, you can take a look down if you need. In my case, I turn my foot again. So, of course, it's Tai Chi walking. I have a down slope that's slippery now. So I'm making sure that as I shift, I don't build up momentum shifting from my heel to my toe. So as the weight comes from the heel to the toe, I end up slipping or my foot slips. Yeah, oh boy, that's a slope there, boy. So I don't know if you could see that on the camera, but my foot went down and then it slipped maybe 3 inches forward, but my weight was fully here. So it was more, oh, that's curious. And it was going downhill, so I didn't know how far it would go. But my weight is here. So it was more of a curiosity than a concern. And now that it's settled in and I can feel what's there, I could shift my weight to it and I feel pretty comfortable with that. Now I'm on top of a bunch of snow. Don't know how it's going to settle. So probably not a very exciting video to watch Tai Chi walking. I get it. That's nice and slow. Okay. Let's try a little bit of Tongbi, this joint space making or arm lengthening. So I'm going to do this with a shift. So I'm setting one foot forward. I'm going to push so the weight comes forward. And then what I'm going to do is imagine my hand stuck on a wall, maybe my fingertips, maybe my palm. And I'm going to shift away so that I feel that that arm or those arms lengthen, right? Now, I might not shift all that far, right? I might just get 20% of my shift. And I'm not touching a wall, so it's really just in my mind. But the idea is that as I shift away, the joint in the wrist, the joint in the elbow, the joint in the shoulder, all open. And my job is to inhale and fill those joints with warm air. Or if you like, sometimes I imagine filling them with like hot medicinal tea or soup or like a warm Chinese herbal remedy, like a decoction of some sort. So the idea is like warm and healing. Sometimes people don't like to do that because we're inhaling and we're thinking about a fluid and that gets them into a drowny place. So you don't need to do that. You could just stick to the warm breath. So to put it all together, I'm taking my step like we've been practicing. I'm going to shift and practice a push, keeping my posture and my breath. Once I get to the end of that, I'm going to slowly shift away and inhale. And then exhale and push back forward. And then I'm going to try and see if I can inhale again and double down, fill with warm air. Maybe I'm replacing with warmer air. Maybe I'm getting more joint space and more air to fill it. And then exhale, come back forward and push. Last time. We'll try the other side. So I'm just going to recover my feet. Maybe I'll do this a little closer, however. I don't think you'll see all that much, but why not? So step, Exhale. Inhale. I think I lost the thread on that. I'm going to do it all over again. I feel like I started doing reverse breathing here. Okay. So we want to be careful not to inhale, shift away, and just kind of bring the tailbone and the posture away and pivot the shoulders. I want to feel like I'm keeping my posture so it can help to look right at the horizon for that. Okay, so a little bit of a snow day practice for you. Be safe, practice whatever the weather. Stay safe, be safe, teach safely, and love. Oh, it looks like the penguin knew the class was over. I'm not sure how long ago you fell. The snow owl, what you're supposed to tell me. Thank you.